Imagine waking up in a quiet waterfront town, and by afternoon, your street is a tunnel of fire. Homes exploding in flames, the sky turned blood orange, and emergency alerts on every phone screaming one message: leave now. In New South Wales, Australia, more than 75 bushfires have erupted at once, with families fleeing by car, by boat, some with only minutes to spare. This isn't a bad fire day, it's a preview of a new kind of summer. Early December 2025. A severe heatwave settles over large parts of New South Wales, Queensland, the Northern Territory, and Western Australia. Heat alerts go out for wide areas of eastern and northern Australia. In Sydney, forecasts push toward 39 degrees Celsius, with western suburbs expected to top 40 degrees Celsius under hot, dry winds. For fire authorities, these numbers are a red flag. For residents, especially after the memory of the 2019 to 2020 Black Summer bushfires, they are a trigger for anxiety. By Saturday, the heat wave combines with parched vegetation and gusty winds. Across eastern and central New South Wales, more than 75 bush and grass fires are burning. At least 19 of them are uncontained, meaning fire crews have not yet been able to build secure control lines around the flames. On the Central Coast, in the suburb of Koolewong, a picturesque area of steep slopes and waterfront homes, a fire that began in bushland surges uphill and downhill at the same time. Residents describe seeing the fire just appear behind their houses as ember showers jump across roads and into gardens. Within hours, more than a dozen houses along the shoreline are destroyed or badly damaged, and roads like Brisbane Water Drive are closed as flames lick the roadside. Emergency alerts escalate from watch and act to emergency evacuate now, telling people that conditions are too dangerous to wait. Northwest of there, the Milsons Gully fire races through dry country, rapidly burning thousands of hectares in the Upper Hunter region. Satellite imagery later shows a scar of well over 2,000 hectares, with the burn area expanding quickly under strong winds. Nearby, another major fire in Goulburn River National Park tears through rugged terrain, burning thousands more hectares before crews can slow its progress. Along the Pacific Highway near Bulahdelah, wind-driven flames cross both sides of the road, destroying homes on the edges of town and forcing drivers to navigate through thick smoke and emergency roadblocks. This disaster isn't confined to one state. Across Bass Strait in Tasmania, a wind-driven blaze near Dolphin Sands destroys around 19 homes and damages dozens of other structures. Over 700 hectares burn as shifting winds and dry fuels turn a coastal holiday community into a charred landscape. In Victoria, a fire near Markwood, northeast of Melbourne, also destroys homes before cooler, wetter conditions, including storms and even high-altitude snow, help firefighters bring it under control. It's a bizarre contrast. Cold air and rain in the south, brutal heat and fire in NSW on the same weekend. Across New South Wales alone, more than 1,100 firefighters and around 300 vehicles are deployed, supported by water-bombing aircraft and large helicopters. On the Central Coast, roughly 250 firefighters, 50 trucks, and a heavy-lift Chinook helicopter work to save as many homes as they can. Despite all this, multiple houses are destroyed in Koolewong, Bulahdelah, and other communities, and thousands of people receive evacuation or shelter-in-place warnings. State and federal authorities declare natural disaster zones in several areas, unlocking financial support and recovery assistance. Early reports from some agencies highlight that, despite extensive damage, there were no immediate civilian fatalities, a testament to effective warnings and rapid evacuations. Later updates, however, report the tragic death of a veteran firefighter in Bulahdelah, reminding us that while many communities survived, the cost for those on the front line can be fatal. That's the basic timeline. But timelines alone don't explain disasters. To really understand this event, we need to ask a harder question. Why did these fires explode the way they did? Australia's own State of the Climate 2024 report, produced by CSIRO and the Bureau of Meteorology, shows a clear trend. More extreme heat events, a longer fire season over large parts of the country, an increase in extreme fire weather days since the 1950s. On land, Australia has already warmed by more than 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial levels. That doesn't just mean a bit hotter. It means more days suitable for large fires, shorter recovery windows between fire seasons, and a higher chance that a normal hot day crosses the threshold into firestorm territory. Australia's National Climate Risk Assessment, released recently, warns that climate change is already amplifying risks from extreme heat and bushfires, with further worsening projected in coming decades. Australian Geographic. In other words, what we're seeing in New South Wales and Tasmania in December 2025 is not a random fluke. It fits a pattern of harsher, longer fire seasons in a warming climate. Bushfires are also part of the carbon cycle. When forests burn, they release large amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. A technical update from Australia's Department of Climate Change, highlighted on GLASP, explains that while bushfires can emit significant greenhouse gases, regrowing forests often act as a carbon sink in subsequent years, partially offsetting those emissions. But there are two important caveats. The timing matters. The carbon is released now, when the world urgently needs to cut emissions. The regrowth and reabsorption take years or decades. Not all ecosystems fully recover. Repeated fires, especially under hotter conditions, can shift some landscapes to more fire-prone vegetation types, potentially reducing their long-term capacity to store carbon. So each major fire season doesn't just destroy homes and habitats, it also nudges the climate system further along a dangerous path, which in turn increases fire risk. It's a feedback loop. If you're watching from California, Greece, Canada, Spain, Chile, or any fire-prone region, this story should feel disturbingly familiar. Around the world, studies show that rising temperatures and changing rainfall patterns are increasing the number of days with dangerous fire weather. Australia's State of the Climate report says exactly that for its own continent: more extreme fire weather, a longer fire season. What happens in New South Wales is not just an Australian problem. It's a global preview of what unmanaged climate risk and rapid development in fire-prone landscapes can lead to. So, what can we take away from the December 2025 fires in New South Wales and Tasmania? We are living in a new fire climate. Warnings and preparedness work, but they're not enough on their own. We need to think beyond this summer. No one is completely safe, but everyone can be better prepared. The fires that shattered parts of New South Wales in December 2025 are tragic, but they're also a lesson written in smoke and ash. If we ignore a changing climate and expanding fire risk, these once-in-a-decade events will keep returning again and again.